I'm rolling already.
Rolling already. Makan already.
Yes. No, not yet actually.
Wait,
I didn't know where your office was, man. Like,
Huh?
I didn't know where your office was. I had to find my way, navigate.
Okay, anyways, like we're back again with another episode of We Don't Have a Name for This Show Yet. Okay, as you can see, today my co-host is another person. It's not Brian. Brian, you can see, is on that side. He's too busy with Nicola and everything else. And today we have a special guest.
Hi, my name is Brannon, also known as BT Kicks. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should.
Wow, you should.
Yeah.
Wow, self-plug.
Self-plug.
So today's episode is going to be a bit different. As you know, there's a lot of speculations about, Travis highs, Travis lows, legit checking, the QC problem. And today we have Brannon on board to actually explain more on what differences there are depending on which pair from which country. Oh, okay, take out your pairs.
So we've got
Woo!
3 pairs.
The table is on fire. The first thing that we want to check today is the box label. Some of the resellers or even like buyers, they always check the label, which is this size label. Yeah, so okay, Brandon, I think you're the expert here lah. Maybe you talk on
Well,
this.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I've seen so many different pairs with so many different batch flaws and just different signs which people might think it's fake. Everybody seems to be very nitpicky about the Travis pair, both high and the lows especially.
Yes.
The fake pairs, the ones that I've seen anyway, definitely have sort of similar characteristics to the original pair box logo.
Box logo. Whoa.
To the original box label. So if you
True
can
hype
see,
beast.
so we see here, most of the labels will get this right. I know certain people have said that the R here, like Julian,
Good. I heard it from another person. Yeah.
the EUR, if you zoom in a little bit closer here, most pairs will have sort of a sharper edge of the R, if that makes sense. Whereas some other pairs as well, we have the R curved. So that's not actually a sign. I've seen multiple original pairs with
The curve R.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this pair actually comes from France, from
okay.
Nike sneakers from France directly. I have the receipt and everything. We'll show that in a bit. And you see here, this one is slightly more curved. Whereas you see here, if I get a size 11 box, so this pair, the size 11, comes from Nike sneakers London. And you see here on the box label, this R is much sharper.
Is that something like a QC problem or?
Generally, so overall the QC is very bad. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Right? So I just think that if you're specifically looking for the R flaw, it's not necessarily a sign that the shoe is fake.
All right.
As we go on through this video, there's many other signs that you can probably have a look at, and you can determine whether it's a legit pair or a fake pair.
So the next one will be the box color. So okay, Brandon, lead us.
So again, we're looking at 2 different boxes. This is the size 11 from London, and this is the size 9 from France. And see here, if the camera can pick it up, there's actually a different shade of brown. One is slightly darker and one slightly lighter.
Okay.
And this is honestly just due to the batch production, the manufacturing. They come from different factories, and I guess another QC sort of issue. But in my opinion, the box is another way of checking whether the pair is fake or not. But it's just something to take note of, that a different shade of brown doesn't necessarily mean it's fake.
Where is this from?
This is from London.
This one is
It's
from France.
Yeah. Both have legit receipts. Both are straight from Nike sneakers, and you can see, there is a difference probably from manufacturing or a batch issue. So this is also a French pair, another UK 8, US 9, and you see here, if I put this in the middle here, the shades are different again. So these 2 are French pairs, and this one is from London. You can straight away tell. The middle one's slightly darker, and these 2 are lighter.
All right.
The size of all 3 boxes are exactly the same.
Point is, doesn't mean if the box color is lighter or darker does not mean that it's fake or real.
It's not accurate.
Yeah, it's not accurate
It's not
enough.
really accurate. You can't tell just by looking at the first point we made, which is the box label or the color of the box.
Now we're moving on to something that's more interesting, which is
It's the smell of the Jordan 1.
the smell of the Jordan 1.
For
If
any-
you know, you know.
For any other Jordan 1 collectors out there, you know what I'm talking about. The smell of a Jordan 1 fresh from the box is just, it's very distinct, you're right. It's very recognizable, and I for one like smelling my Jordan 1s when they're fresh out of the box. The most distinct, legit Jordan 1 smell, literally it smells like glue. Like it's a mix of strong leather, if they use a good leather, strong leather or a strong sort of glue smell. Whereas the fake pairs usually have a very slight chemical smell. It's hard to describe smell on camera. It's a very strong chemical smell. Whereas a legit pair will probably smell more like, you know, the glue and like, you know, more leathery. You know, it's very distinct. So I actually had a conversation with our friend the other day, Hans.
Yes.
Shout out Hans. And he said that even though you've worn them maybe 1 or 2 times, that leather and glue smell still lingers in the shoe. Unless you have smelly feet, then I mean that's
yeah.
So as we're diving deeper into like the smaller details of each Travis pair, one thing to note is the Travis wings logo here. Most pairs, regardless of size, should have a sort of symmetrical placing around this area here. So it has a somewhat symmetrical sort of placement.
Okay.
So if you were like on a PowerPoint, you know when the grid lines come up to tell you. So something like that. So imagine sort of PowerPoint lines telling you that exactly in the middle, or somewhat symmetrical to the shape of the shoe. Another thing to note is that most fake pairs have a slightly larger wings logo because they somehow just can't get the dimensions right. So regardless of the shoe being a size 11 or size 9, the wings logo will definitely be a lot bigger, and also the edge of the wing here will sort of seep into, you know, extra space. You see, it'll just look a bit off. Honestly, most fakes have got it right. It's scary that the wings logo are really, really close.
That's why we have this video.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you know, Travis Scott with his Cactus Jack, the Cactus Jack logo. Okay, you see this pair and you see that pair. See the difference? One is more embossed than the other.
So this is a very, very common way that people think that it's a legit or fake pair, you know? It's honestly very, very hard to tell, but the general rule I find is that the actual placement of the logo, it's very hard to compare these two because we don't have a fake pair around.
Yeah.
That some of the fakes will have the logo too high or will have it too low. This is somewhat right in the middle.
Okay, so how embossed it is doesn't really determine whether it's real or fake. It's more of the placement, right? So related to Cactus Jack again, another thing that you can determine whether a shoe is real or fake is actually through the Cactus Jack 3M on the inner side of the shoe.
Well, you can look at the left pair here because this is more prominent in my opinion. So I know, again, due to very, very bad QC as well as so many different batches that have been produced, some of the 3M will show in 3M light obviously, but from the naked eye or from a normal light, you don't actually see it very distinctly.
Yeah.
It's very light in the background, but if you do put a light on this, the 3M, it will show up. You see on this pair, it's very prominent. You know, it really is down to, I cannot iterate this enough, it's really, really bad QC.
What about the placement of it?
It's exactly the same.
Okay, so besides the Cactus Jack 3M on the inner side of the shoe, right? The suede material overall, which I think I understand because I've seen fakes before, and some of it, like the suede, isn't that soft.
But it also doesn't change color. So jumping in here, so these two are separate batches. We can tell because of the inside size tag. You know, this is a 2018 batch which was released, I think, on his birthday way back when, right?
Yeah.
And this comes from the most recent restock. So this is the 2019 batch. They're both different qualities. So on this pair, you can see it's not as buttery. It still changes color, which is a good sign usually. But it is not as buttery as this pair here. You can sort of feel the difference in material, even though they're both, like I said, again, legit pairs from different factories, but they're just a different manufacturing date. So a lot of the ways people legit check in the early stages before the whole market was flooded with fakes was this inside barcode. It's very, very stitched in, particularly on this pair. If it didn't have a barcode, it was 100% fake. So that was honestly one of the early signs, but now all if not most pairs will have that barcode, and it's all exactly the same. So in that sense, QC again was really, really bad. The stitching was so inconsistent. I've had pairs where I think this pair, the barcode is very clearly shown. Oh no, this is just underneath here as well.
So another thing I know about the tongue that to legit check is actually the text.
The text on the inside tongue does vary for different pairs. You know,
depending on which country as well.
You know, depending on the country, depending on the batch. I've seen fonts that are already super thick. So I think that one sign obviously is to really check the text. If you see it's not sort of consistent, it's not in a symmetrical sort of print, then that might be a sign that it's a fake pair.
Okay, so next thing, the most important part of legit checking a pair of shoes is from the size label inside the shoe. There is different batches. There's one from 2018 and there's one from 2019. So what's actually the difference and what should we actually look out for?
As we mentioned earlier, if you look inside the size tag here, if you look on the back date, that's actually what I use as an indication to see which batch this particular shoe came from. So this pair at the end you see is 2018 and this is 2019. And again, there are very subtle but some very obvious differences, batch differences, you know, between this pair and this pair. But in general, my general rule is that, as you know, Nike has introduced a new sort of size tag with a QR code.
Yes.
Cool. So that's mostly for the 2019 pairs. So obviously, there's a mix of batches for each separate pair. I've seen real pairs with the new size tag, but most of them are 2019. So if you do see any batch dates with a QR code with 2018, that's a sure sign that it's fake.
So okay, this method, I don't know, Brannon has been doing a lot of research on like the fakes and the real, and then he actually tried to compare. So one thing that he realized is that the shoe rocks. I mean, yeah, the shoe is nice, yeah, but
I think to be clearer, it waddles.
oh, okay, it waddles. Okay, fine. Wobbles. Okay.
Right. So a thing that I've generally learned through doing like research and watching like various videos is that for every Jordan 1 pair, regardless whether it's the Travis, the lows, or mids, the outsole is always curved. It's never a flat, completely flat outsole. Take this pair for example. If I took the right pair of any Jordan 1, if I put it on a flat surface like this, if I press down, there should be a very distinct curve here in the outsole. So it's never flat. Even if I press down on one side, the other side will rock out like a seesaw. What? So in general, most fakes, if not all fakes, will have a very flat Jordan 1 also. So this entire thing will be flat. And if I just like this, again, it's very distinct. It's very hard to miss, and it's definitely this. I think is a pretty confident and sure way of saying whether not just this Jordan 1 or any Jordan 1, whether it's a legit pair or a fake pair.
Okay, so that's it for this video. We already show you all the signs. By actually checking all of these signs, you should already be able to tell between the fake and the real Travis highs. Thanks Brannon for coming on board and educating the masses. Follow him on Instagram at btkicks_, which is somewhere up here. So, go say hi. Don't ask him so many stupid questions if you want to know more about legit checking. But he will actually help you. He's very friendly. Yeah, so...
Slide into my DM.
Oh, wow. Okay, signing out. This is Julian and this is...
Brannon.
Okay, we'll see you in the next episode, hopefully.